Third fight. Ooh, third fight in Japan. I'm going to face Funaki Masakatsu. Who's the man? He's one of the founders of Pancrase. He's the man. By the way, this is a funny story because a lot of people look at my record and they go, man, you finished everybody in the first round. And I go, yeah. But you understand, it's a 30-minute round, right? It was one round of 30 minutes. So it looks really cool. But if you look at the time codes, although I have to say, I wrote some down here, on paper. So I have a fight. Watch this. 43 seconds, 116, 137, 143, 105, 152, 2 minutes, 132, 54 seconds, 3 minutes 15, 258, and 342. Those are my fastest matches. But again, it looks like I wrapped everybody up in the first round, which I did, but it's of course a 30-minute round. So it makes me look really good because one fight went 27 minutes. We're going to talk about that one as well. He was actually my shortest fight. And then in the second one, you see, I broke my hand on the very first punch on his head. Yeah, and that went 27 minutes because I only had one arm. And submissions was hard, I couldn't grab the fingers. But yeah, like I said, we're going to talk about that later. Now, the third fight, like I mentioned already, Funaki Masakatsu, yeah, he's a really good fighter. Now, I won first two fights by way of knockout, as you know, because we talked about that. So I kind of warned those guys over there. They kind of knew that, okay, I was a knockout guy. So Funaki was very smart. He was going to, of course, take me down. He's this submission artist. Now, what they did before the fight, they gave me a new outfit. I couldn't part with my shorts yet because my shorts were my lucky shorts. I used to wear those in Thai boxing as well. They looked horrible. They were ripped up. By now they were like pink. They used to be dark purple, but they've been washed so many times. So you're going to see me fight in new shin guards, but I'm still wearing my old pads. Then after that fight, that's when Funaki Suzuki came to me. They gave me another one, a white outfit with white shin guards. And that's when they asked me, okay, we really would like you to wear the whole outfit because those pants, they just don't look good on camera. Now, I couldn't prepare as much for submission fighting. I talked about that in the past, right? Because it was far away. I had nobody to train with. I literally trained on my back. That was it. And every day I would do 12 rounds on the back. Maybe 2 times 12 rounds on the back. Funny story, by the way. There was a moment, I don't know when it happened, but there's a moment that I was off for like 2.5 months. What happened was that I overtrained because I thought the harder I train, the stronger I get. So if I train 2 times a day, 12 rounds on the back, and I go as hard as I can, that's going to make me very strong. It's actually going to make you very weak. So there was this moment that I was training myself in the gym. The gym was locked. I had the key, of course, because I was a teacher there as well. And the people who opened the gym found me. I was laying on the ground. So apparently I passed out. First time in my life, I've never been knocked out, never had an 8 count even. I've been hit hard in training that I go, okay, that was a hard punch, but I never went out. Then, that's when I went out. And what happened was I had 4% body fat. I was completely overtrained. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor says, what are you doing? I go, well, I train 2 times a day. And he goes, every day, yeah. He goes, it's stupidity, boss. I said, what do you mean? He says, that's not how it works. The harder you train, you're breaking your muscles down. You need to give your muscles rest in order to come back strong. Rest and protein. That's what muscles need. Because what you're doing when you're working out, you're kind of breaking your muscles. You're breaking them up. And then when you give them time and you give them protein, it comes back stronger. That's the amazing thing about the body, right? If you break a bone, for instance, let's say in the middle of my arm, and you set it and you make sure that it's set correctly, well, that means that it will never break at that same spot again. It's actually stronger there now. So when it breaks again, or if it breaks again, it will probably break next to it. But on the old break, it will never stop. So when he told me to take more rest, of course, that was nice to hear. I started taking rest. He says, you're going to freak out, boss. You're going to feel so strong because you never did this before. And boy, was he right. I came freaky deaky strong. I always tell people, that's 9 one-arm pull-ups. And not like this, what people do. That's not a one-arm pull-up, that's 2 hands. No, 1 arm. And not a stretched arm, by the way. I start here. And then I would pull up, and I would... So I was very, very strong. But for the people at home who believe that the more they train, the stronger they get, that's wrong. I took off, let me see, my schedule would be 10 times a week. I would train on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I would train twice a day. On Wednesday and Saturday, once a day, and Sunday I would take off. Now, if you have a schedule like that, you're going to be just fine. Now, if you want to train more, because I hear some people, they train, I don't know how they do it, 7-8 hours a day. I even have no clue how they do it. Well, you're going to have to be very precise with your workout. Like, for instance, if you just go and just flow and nice and relax and drill certain techniques in there, that is of course fine. But to push you to go over 80% for 8 hours a day, yeah, you're going to burn out, and you're going to burn out really fast. Okay, so that's my gift to you. Make sure that you do not do this too many, not train too hard. This is important. Okay, so go back to Funaki. Funaki, I didn't train a lot of ground. I knew kind of that he was going to take me down, but hey, I'm a boss, you know. I thought I'm the man, and I'm going to be able to stop his takedown. Idiot, because I never trained for takedown defense. So, with my new pants, I started the fight, and then during the fight, I get caught in a toe hold. Now, there is a story before, because once you see the fight, we're going to show some spots where I grab my hands instead of this grip, or this grip, or this grip. You know, I literally had, this was my grip, which is not a grip because it's very easy to break this grip, especially if the guy knows what he's doing. If there's a crossface, well, a crossface you're going to have to let every grip go anyway, because once you do it at a certain moment, the harder you hold, the more pain you're going to have on your own neck. So you want to watch out for that. But you see me doing this, like almost like I'm praying. There are moments in there that I say, oh man, if I would fight that guy right now, I would reverse it right away. Because once I start understanding the submission game, well, reversals is the very first thing that I started out with. It's actually in my Wikipedia. When you look at it, it says that I sweep my opponent, I believe it's 43 times. It was a record, 43 times they say. But I never took anybody down. So that meant that they took me down, they were in control, and then I would sweep them, and now I'm in control. So reversals are very important to know. But like for instance, when I started water skiing, trick skiing. And trick skiing is a ski that doesn't have a fin underneath. So the good thing about it is you can make circles, you can do all these crazy things, and you can jump, you know, on little ramps, and then land again. But what I learned the very first time, the very first week, not the very first time, because I first had to learn to get on the thing, was a tumble turn, is what they call it. And I go, why would you learn that the first? Because it's a very difficult move. I said, well, I do that because once you do the tumble turn and you fall, you keep hanging, you know, as long as your ski is out of the water on the back, you can turn in such a way that you put your ski back on the water and you can continue skiing. If you don't know the tumble turn and you fall, you're going to have to walk back. Now, if you fall all the way back, like 300 yards, you're going to have to walk 300 first. You have to swim to the shore, and then you're going to have to go all the way back. So the most difficult thing I learned immediately, because that gave me more time on the water. And that's the same thing that I applied to submissions. Learn the reversals first. And you want to get good at reversals, you know what you do? You lay on your back. And you let your opponent or your partner, your training partner, take any position they want. Whatever. Side mount, mount, high mount, low mount, guard, whatever it is. And that's when you start fighting. And that's what I did for months in a row. Let him get the best position possible and then escaping that position. And once you start doing that, guess what? It's going to be very hard to keep you down because, well, you become a master at escapes. Now, I always say, if somebody wants to keep you down, it's pretty easy. They'll take you down and then they're in your guard. And when they completely balance out and they lay down and they put their head on your chest and they don't move, it's going to be very hard for you to escape. You know, they always say that submissions is like playing chess. I go, yeah, exactly. But that means that when he doesn't make a move, you can make a move. You have to wait till that person makes a move and there you can react to. So it's very important, right? That you do certain submissions, you do it over and over again. But escaping is the most important. And another great thing, if you want to understand submissions, well, I already said it, understand a submission. A lot of people know what a submission looks like, but they don't understand the body mechanics. If you do not understand the body mechanics, well, you can never apply it the correct way. An example that I use, and I use this a lot, so forgive me if you already saw it, is for instance a simple figure 4, right? This is like a hammerlock, whatever you want to call it. But let's say a figure 4, because it looks like a 4. Right? Now, the mistake a lot of people make, they know what it looks like, but they don't understand the body mechanics. Now, if this hand is here, look how far my elbow can come up if you lift it up, right? But if you put that hand in the same line as your shoulders, now it can only come up this high. Here, the person, your opponent, will actually roll out and escape. But if you push it down and now lift it, that's a big difference. So I realized that once you start understanding a submission and where it hurts and where does it have all the torque and why, you know, and how do I stop it from him, how do I stop him from moving himself in a better situation. Once you start understanding all these little details, that's when you get good. Now that I found out once I started steering away from escaping. What I'm trying to say is this. So normally people would say to me, boss, you're a striker. Everybody, they will go for the most used submissions are an armbar, a choke. It's like what would you have more? What I focus on? Triangle choke, everything, a guillotine choke. Those, just learn how to escape them. And I go, okay. And I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and it didn't work. People still were submitting me in training, it still didn't work. And then I realized, I'm such a douche. What an idiot. Why don't I learn the submission? Because if I learn everything I need to know about the armbar, and I know every little detail, I automatically know how to stay out of it. And I automatically also know how to escape it. You see, because now I understand every little detail about that submission. And boom, that's when I start getting really good. That's when I really, started understanding the ground game. And then I found out, oh man, the ground game is way more powerful than boxing or striking. I mean, you can dislocate any joint in the body. You can break pretty much any bone in the body. And every submission guy can do it. A blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu can do that. It's not only me, everybody out there can do it. That's a big power to have. So once I realized that, and once I realized all the crazy combinations that you could do, and different setups to certain submissions, like everybody goes for the straight armbar from the mount, well, find a different way. And then find another different way, and another different way. And so suddenly you have like 3, 4, 5 different ways to go to that same submission. And once you start mixing those up, then you drive your opponent crazy. He doesn't know what to do anymore. If you first attack the straight from the mount, and then suddenly you make a difference, you jump from side mount, you see? Chaos. That's what you want to try to get inside your opponent's head. Okay, so now I'm facing Funaki with not a lot of submission skills. Funaki, as I mentioned already, is one of the top guys from Pancrase. Now there's a moment in the fight also where he sits in my guard and then he sits up and he's trying to break my guard. He's going to lean backwards and he's leaning on my toes and he's setting me up for a toe hold. Now don't let that move fool you, or the name. It's not like this is a toe and he's going to hold my toe. This is a completely different move. I saw John Lober in Pancrase against Ryushi Yanagisawa break his shin bone in half with a toe hold. So it's a badass move, which I found out. I didn't know what it was, I always say, but I knew it hurt because I was in pain. But what happened was, I'm in his guard, and in Pancrase, it's allowed to hit palm strikes to the head, not with a closed fist. So the first one, I give him a palm strike, and the second one, I don't know why, I hit him with my fist. But as soon as I hit him with my fist, I go, oh, sorry, and I apologize. I let myself go. And at that moment, he went for the toe hold, put me in there, and now he really cranked it hard because he thought I hit him on purpose. You will see after the fight, why are you doing that? And I explained it to him, and he says, okay, I'm sorry about it. Now, I do have to say this though, even without me punching him, he would have gotten me the toe hold. This is not an excuse. He would have submitted me 100%. The only reason I'm saying this is, if I wouldn't have done that, he wouldn't have pulled it on so hard. Because boy, I remember the referee. He's a very famous referee in Japan. Like people around the world, they come to him. Haito, is his name. Haito, I believe. They come to him to fix their bodies. Like this guy's a magician. I had one time an injury that I really hurt my hand. My pinky, actually. Look, it's a big pinky because I was hitting somebody and hit his hip. He was wearing a gi, and I don't know how high his hips were. And I hit him with my pinky, and it was hurting me because, well, this bone is going to lose, right? So then I had to fight. And I remember before the fight, I went over to him, and he said to me, oh, I'll take care of it. And he did this acupressure. He pushed a little here, I go, oh, dude, it hurts. And he goes, oh, again, and again, and again. And the second time was less pain. Third time was less pain. And the fourth time I was going, and literally does it, chup, 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 chup. He's doing like that. And says, "I'll try it out." And I'm going, I could do it. Like 100%. There was not even one little ounce of pain. I go, how did you do that? So that guy was actually treating my ankle so I could walk and could fly back home. That's how thick my ankle was. And that was my fight against Funaki. Watch out for toe holds. If you look at the Bas Rutters big DVDs of combat, you know, I used that shadow, I showed that setup that Funaki did to me, but also a bunch of other ones, because that's what I always enjoyed with fighting. You know, creating different ways. Remember, I was just talking about it, creating different ways to go to a certain submission. Because if you create a way that which your opponent never has seen before, that's when you're going to get successful. It's the same with striking combinations. Right? We all know how to land the right hand. Well, because we all know it's very hard to land the right hand. But if you find a really nice setup to that right hand, a setup that your opponent has never seen before, boom, now we're talking. Now it's gold. So you can do this with striking, you can do this with submissions, you can do this with everything. And there, we're waiting for the right moment to explode. And here it's coming. You see me going, bonk, woof. Just missed with that knee, oh, and that knee. And this is it. Now, he's in my guard. And to have a guy like that in your guard is not a really good thing. He's going to push on my throat. Personally, right now, if I would be fighting again, I would go for a neck crank, right? Neck crank is always the best way for people to break their grip. There's no way, because the harder they hold themselves, the more pressure they're going to get on their own necks. Look at my hands. It's like I'm praying. That is the worst grip. You remember I was talking about the grip? That is the grip. You never want to do that. But you live, you learn, right? That's what they say. I believe that he's going to try to, you know, close off my left side of my neck with his biceps. And then with his fist, with his left hand, he's going to push that fist into my side of the other side of the neck, my other carotid artery, and then try to stop it, but it doesn't work. Somehow, I have an idea, I guess, what he's doing there. Actually, I knew a few submissions. I knew like 4 submissions, you know. I heard about the side choke, because every time I was in the side choke, and the side choke, that's coming up actually here, because he doesn't believe I have any submission attempts or any submission skills. Now I'm going to use it. Look, I'm going to push his hand to the side. I don't know when it's going to be. Ooh, I give him a warning there. I have to watch out. Okay, I'm holding him tight again. This is important for me. Oh, there we go for the side choke. Now I kind of warn him. Although in a little bit, I think I'm going to catch him almost with it. But I simply didn't know how to finish it. So, still, I gave him a warning, which is not good. There we go, see? Now, if I would have known, with my right hand, I would have grabbed my biceps, my left biceps, I would have had a much harder grip. By the way, in this position right now, I would have reversed him. I mean, I would have reversed him to the left, to my left. You know, that's how easy it would be now. But hey, again, you live, you'll learn. Now he's going to try to sit up. First he's leaning, he's trying for something else. He wants to set me up with a figure 4, you know, that I was just talking about before, how to set it up. But you see, look, he sets his right foot. He's sitting on his right foot, and now my guard is broke, and he puts his hands on my toes. I first hit him with the open hand, and now you can't tell from that angle, I hit him with a closed fist. Bonk, watch. And I go, sorry. And as soon as I said sorry, that's when he did this. And now you look at him. He goes, why? Why did you do that? I go, dude, I didn't do it on purpose. I apologize. That's why I said, I'm sorry. And that was it. My ankle is hurting. Bas Rutter lost his very first fight. Okay, so whatever. I lost my very first fight. You think I shed one tear? No, I did not. Why? Because it's my own fault. I didn't know the ground game. It's my own fault. And if I'm a smart person, a smart fighter, I will never get submitted the same way. Right? Now I'm going to find a defense for it. So wait a minute, that loss actually, if I'm smart, made me a stronger fighter. You see, that's why I never got it. You know, I had friends who were crying in the dressing room and on the way back to the hotel and still on the plane, they're crying. I go, why are you crying, dude? It's your own mistake. Just become stronger and better skilled so it won't happen again. Take it to the heart. Well, however you lost, if it's a by decision, okay, it's a by decision. But if it's a, for instance, it goes to a decision and you didn't really push the action, well, that's your fault. There's nothing worse than looking at your fight and it went to decision and realizing that you didn't pull the trigger. You had way more in your gas tank, but you decided not to do it. That fight, yeah, now you can cry. That's a stupid thing to do. But if you lose by way of submission, sure, you know, it's not fun, but you lost. Guess what? Crying's not gonna do anything. What you can do is take it to the heart and make sure that will never happen again. And bada bing, bada boom, now you're a stronger fighter. So, I hope you're like me and just use it as fuel to become a better fighter. And then, well, it's never a problem winning or losing. Then again, I gotta say, I didn't lose in my last 22. Yeah, I'm such an ass, right? I mean, so it was easier for me to say, of course. But I know that eventually, because I got all the injuries, right? And I hated it that I had injuries, but now I'm very happy. Because if I wouldn't have had the injuries, I would have kept on fighting. I know it myself, I'm an idiot. You know, and then when you're 45 years old, you're fighting these young bucks half your age who started training when they were 8 years old. You're eventually going to lose because you can't really push your training anymore. Remember I said 4 really hard workouts a week? Can't do that if you're over 45 years of age because otherwise you're going to burn out. You see, so it's easy to say if you have a great record, but otherwise always take it to the heart and just learn from your mistakes and become a stronger fighter. Alright guys, I will see you in the next show. Planet Boss, whoop 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 whoop. Can you do this already? I hope you can. When you have two fighters equally skilled fighting each other, the one with the most stamina is probably going to win the match. When you have two teams equally skilled, no matter what sport it is, facing each other, the team with the most stamina is probably going to win the match. Now why is that? Because they can keep on pushing. Now your lungs don't do anything by themselves. They're just two bags. There's not a single muscle in your lungs. The way for your lungs to open up is by your breathing muscles. And so that you know, you have 11 pounds of breathing muscles and it's the number one priority in your body. I mean 3-4 minutes without it and you might be dead. Now when you're in an athletic event and you're gassing, you know what's happening? That's your breathing muscles stealing blood. And yes, that's a medical term. Blood stealing. Stealing blood for your limbs to support the breathing muscles so they can keep you alive since it's the number one priority in your body. And now you might ask, wait a minute, so why don't I work out my breathing muscles? Now that's the right question. And that's what the O2 Trainer does. The O2 Trainer is an inspiratory muscle device. And this works out your breathing muscles, your 11 pounds of breathing muscles, so you can have maximum chest expansion, and that means that you can maximally fill up your lungs with air. If you want to know more about how breathing works, go to o2trainer.com. And if you want to know everything about breathing, go to breathingforwarriors.com. Dr. Belisa Vranic, she's a world-renowned breathing expert, and myself, we put a breathing course together, a 3-hour breathing course where we hit everything that you need to know about breathing. Godspeed and breathe on.